Up front, I want to make a declaration. The protest in the capital, which was allegedly meant to be a demonstration against ABVP, was not a voluntary student protest. It was a sponsored protest in which political parties urged their affiliated unions to march to a preconceived single-point agenda to drag in the center and label it authoritarian. The center, of course, didn't need much of an invite because it had already entered the fray. If you don't believe me, consider the undisputable hard facts. Hard fact 1. Gurmehar Kaur, a 20-year-old, went public saying the protest is not a political one. Yet, and we come to hard fact 2, the principal of Ramjas appeals for the end to demonstrations, saying that he wanted peace back on his campus. He wanted the politicians out. But parties and their affiliated student unions, and this is hard fact 3, marched in protest. Let's look at hard fact 4, which further explains and exemplifies what I'm saying. Several banners that were being held up today in the protest had nothing to do with the Ramjas unrest. Which brings me to hard fact 5. Unaffiliated students, so tired of this politicization, have condemned netas for getting involved in this Ramjas unrest, for pitting college student against college student, for introducing a divisiveness, a polarization on the North Campus at a level we've never witnessed before. If you don't draw a line today, we are going to have a situation where our youth will be deeply scarred by the machinations of political lobbies, activists, and parties that will forever break unity of thought and, most importantly, of vision in our future generations. Listen to the sound bites and you'll understand what I mean.
Should freedom of speech give you the license to campaign for disintegration of India? To say that Kashmir must be made independent? To campaign that Bastar must be made autonomous? That is the larger issue. And it is the same voice of subversion and I would say disintegration which had its roots in JNU also. Bharat ke tukde honge inshallah. That's the point, larger point I'm saying. Should the freedom of speech also give you the license to campaign even orally for disintegration of India? I don't think Constitution gives you that freedom.
Is defending your constitution political? Is defending the right to have your liberty of your opinion political? They are making it political by threatening the students into submission, by threatening the students through violence and using the state-sponsored police for their benefit. So they are politicized already. This is the fight against that sort of a dirty politicization that the BJP and the RSS and the ABVP are doing.
Who is amplifying the voice of subversion? Who is making it political today on campus? And I want to ask this. Is anyone less guilty of making this political? Let's throw this open. Joining me this evening, Yogendra Yadav, founder of the Swaraj Abhiyan, GVL Narsimah Rao, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Also with us today is Pavan Verma, senior leader of the JDU, senior politician, as well as, of course, Major retired Gaurav Arya. I want to begin with you first, GVL Narsimah Rao. Who is amplifying the voice of subversion? And why is the center, why has it leapt into what was essentially a dispute that should have been worked out within the confines of a college?
No, Rahul, if it were left to the college itself, and if there were no forces behind, possibly what you said certainly makes sense. But under the guise of freedom of speech, what you have seen is college campuses being converted into some kind of political battlegrounds, and you have political leaders rushing to the college campuses and try and side with even people raising anti-national slogans. So where was the need for Rahul Gandhi to rush to JNU when the anti-national slogans were raised last year? Where is the need for people like Sitaram Yechury, D. Raja to throw themselves into this student movement? So I think it has acquired political dimensions only when people like these and Arvind Kejriwal who rushes wherever there is trouble. I think these are the people who had certainly, they wanted to continue with the bogey of intolerance. That intolerance bogey was well served by these kind of protests, and therefore they jumped into these protests and gave them a political color. I think certainly it is these parties which are answerable.
Okay.
And,
the opposition.
and for converting what is largely
Pavan
a
Verma.
campus fight, I think student politics is all right. I have no problem with students having debates, having dissent, disagreeing, and having strong political ideologies. I think there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. I think we should encourage it. But for political parties to jump into it and then try and stoke trouble among students is certainly actually trying to use them
So
for their
GVL
own
Narsimah
political
Rao
agenda.
puts the blame
And as long as it did not acquire anti-national proportions,
on the opposition.
Okay.
Okay, you're putting the blame entirely on the opposition. You've put the blame and the onus completely in the court of the opposition. Let me go across to two leaders from the opposition. Let me first bring in Pavan Verma. Mr. Verma, did the centre feel compelled to actually intervene because they felt that there was this coalition of subversives that was actually acting under the guise of what they see as freedom of expression to actually turn young minds into anti-nationals, and therefore the centre had to step into this?
Rahul, I will make 2 or 3 very basic points. First of all, nationalism is a noble sentiment. And I can think most countries would consider sedition, if verifiable, to be condemnable. This being said, what we are seeing today is the use of nationalism for entirely different purposes. I don't need people to certify my patriotism or nationalism. And certainly, I don't want nationalism to become the reason for 3 things. And I want to make them clear to you. First is for the establishment of political hegemony by the use of instruments which are the youth wings of party, which aim to shut out any other opinion. Secondly, to divert attention from real issues. And thirdly, to stifle what is guaranteed in our constitution, that while there may be more than one opinion on an issue, we can agree to disagree and there should be dissent, discussion and debate. What I want to put on record to you is, and I would put the blame squarely on the ABVP, I'll just finish, I'll take 10 seconds more, is the use of violence, of threat, of intimidation against anyone who questions their definition of what is nationalism and has the temerity to question it.
Violence is inexcusable.
I may not agree with Umar Khalid.
But so some people would say was the
provocation. I may not agree with Umar Khalid. I may say that he's anti-national. But what we are seeing today is that the national,
on that point,
national flag...
Pavan Verma, actually you're going to echo the point that I want to come to.
As a political instrumentality.
I understand.
Can I?
But one second, Mr. GVL Narsimah Rao. I want to come back with a follow-up question. If the violence is inexcusable, and there's no question about it, the violence is inexcusable. You cannot go around because you have a problem with a certain individual or a particular invitation to a certain sect of people, not just targeting students, but also the media, etc., etc. Absolutely not. It cannot happen. But I also want to ask you, wasn't the provocation also, sir, inexcusable? You know, and I want to bring in Professor Yadav also in this. You know that the individual who has been invited is a polarizing figure. You know that that individual is accused or suspected of sedition. Yeah, okay, GVL Narsimah, respond. Respond before I bring in Professor Yadav.
No, I do not want this to go. I do not want this to go uncontested.
The question was asked to me.
No. I was asked. Can I just quickly? No, I'm responding to what you said.
No, Rahul, you must conduct this debate fairly.
Okay, one second.
The question was asked to me.
Question was asked to Pavan Verma. Respond. I want to bring in Professor Yadav also and GVL Narsimah Rao in that order. Please, let's set this up. Let's get these questions out there. Let's get the responses first round. Yes, Pavan Verma.
You see, I said that I condemn Omar Khalid. I can have strong opinions on that subject.
So condemn the invite
or
also.
I condemn people who...
No, condemn the invite.
The invite also, although he... Just a minute, don't ask me to condemn what you believe I should condemn. That is precisely what I am fighting against today. Omar Khalid came to speak on a subject unrelated to what people have against him in what he may have said in JNU. He was there to speak. I said disagree with him. I said condemn his statement also. But I said don't say that only what we believe is right, and if you hold a contrary opinion, you are anti-national and I will slap a case of sedition against you.
Who said this?
Sir, I tell you, Yogi
I said I want to contest him on this.
Yogi Adityanath makes speeches.
I want to contest.
Don't bring in Adityanath and company.
Did not participate.
No, let's not bring in Adityanath. Let's not cloud this. This is precisely what I don't want, because today on campus, sir, let me tell you that there were placards. Now, we are talking about a protest against ABVP violence, but there were placards about Rohit Vemula, about every other issue under the sun except for the one that materially mattered.
So, no,
but you can't.
If I raise Rohit
you can't hijack.
Anti-national.
You can't hijack. No, it's not about that. You can't hijack. You can't hijack one debate with another.
Hijacking.
No, please.
I'm not hijacking.
You can't say today, Pavan Verma.
No, Rahul, can I come in?
Yeah, one second.
You've allowed him 10 minutes.
No, gentlemen, one second. I also want to bring in, one second, as I said.
You cannot say that you will only speak of one thing in a certain way, in a certain manner, which I approve of, and then I'll give you a...
No, what you said is not...
No.
Is not borne out by facts. Whatever you said is not borne out by facts. This is all your imagination. This is a lot of political parties and sections of the media want to simply use ABVP as a punching bag. So therefore,
you all on record. Can't you see that?
What you said, all your
ministers have been intervening.
Are factually incorrect.
Don't defend the ABVP tonight. The ABVP was in the wrong.
The kind of vandalism we saw.
But we must question.
Bastar ki azadi, Kashmir ki azadi. This was done well before. During the protest, and it was the members of ASA, members of SFI who were seen on video punching ABVP students.
Okay.
How can you take sides like
I knew this was going to happen. I knew this debate was going to go this route, but I want to break it down and take it step by step.
You cannot vitiate.
GVL Narsimah Rao, please.
Subvert facts.
Please,
you
1 second.
Subverting the country anyway.
One second. Gentlemen, please. I want to bring in Professor Yadav also and Major Retired Gaurav Arya. Major Arya, 1 second. I want to bring in Professor Yadav. Professor Yadav, you see, there are two issues here. One is, of course, the ABVP's inexcusable violence. Now, we have a situation where the ABVP will justify it by saying that, look, an invite went out to a known separatist sympathizer. An attempt to vitiate the peace on campus has been made along partisan party lines, and this is unacceptable. Is it someone's case that an invite could have been extended without considering the full consequences of the decision? I want to ask you, Mr. Yadav, or was that invite also cleverly orchestrated to spark a fresh round of perhaps political confrontation on campus, sir? Simple question.
Rahul, lots of clever things are being done, and one of those clever things is your show itself. I've been noticing the headlines and little supers that you are running. I must say honestly, this is actually such a vicious way of putting this debate. I'm really surprised and sad to see that your show is trying to tilt this entire debate in one direction. Please don't do that, Rahul. You are a fair person, and please don't say things that you don't know about. I really honestly would like you to play fair in this business. You have said, and I'm very happy to hear that you condemn violence of ABVP, you named it, because there are no two opinions about it. The simple fact is that ABVP gundas bashed up people, students of Delhi University. They took law into their own hands. And police was a mute spectator. And today, ordinary students of Delhi University and other universities came out to protest against that. Now, instead of simply saying, okay, there is someone to stand up to this violence and intimidation, the question your channel is asking is, oh my God, there is politics. Oh my God, something is going wrong. What's happening to you, Rahul? Have
No, there is.
I was part of
Sir,
that
on
particular
both sides.
demonstration. I walked through the entire thing. I must say, allow me to speak, Rahul. You've taken a very strong position. I'm sure you want to listen to the other side as well. You know, I walked through that entire demonstration. And I can tell you, I did not see a single banner of any political party or party-affiliated organization. I met lots and lots of students who had nothing to do with any student organization, any left or any right. These were simply students who were appalled by the kind of violence that ABVP goons have done in Delhi University. This is a reminder of what Sanjay Gandhi Brigade used to do 40 years ago. And if some Delhi University students have got up to protest against that, let us salute
No
them,
problems
let us
with that.
celebrate
In fact,
them,
sir,
and that
there
is
was
what is
also
going
a
to
protest.
protect some independence.
No, but Professor,
here.
now, Professor, you asked me to be fair. Now, you also need to be a little fair on the show. There is a point here, and there is no way you can deny that NSUI is out in strong numbers, that there were other student unions like the ISA that was out in strong numbers.
No,
you can, let
I
me
was
finish,
there.
Sir. You're
Look,
also
I was
a politician.
there. I recognize NSUI
please.
people. They were not there in strong numbers. That's simply false.
So there is a Mashal march going
NSUI
on
was
right
not
now
there.
as we speak. A Mashal march which is being led by the NSUI, sir. I can show you the pictures of it. We've been covering it for the last 2 hours. Those are the pictures. They're on your screen.
That's
These are all
a different.
NSUI members.
That's a different thing altogether. The
Sir,
show that the particular demonstration that I am talking about has nothing to do with NSUI, because I spoke there. I spoke about Sanjay Gandhi gundas, and I spoke about Congress hooliganism.
Which part of the campus were you in? Because this is also important.
I spoke from the stage. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to tell you one thing before we.
I was there today from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I was there.
So you
in
must
that
have seen
particular
Mr. Yechury.
I walked behind that demonstration.
No, one second,
I
Professor.
mixed with students.
Look, Professor, you're also a politician today.
Yes,
you might
they
have
came
also seen
at
Mr.
the end
Yechury.
of it. They came around 4 o'clock.
Yeah, they came around 4 o'clock. Now, I'm asking you, sir, why would somebody from a mainstream political party come there, stand in front of a banner which says, Justice for Rohit Vemula? There it is, sir. The visuals are there. Mr. Yechury is standing there. Please have a look at your screen, sir. Right now, I have frozen the visuals for you. They're there. Justice for Rohit Vemula. What has Mr. Rohit Vemula's case got to do with violence by ABVP? Now, we can tomorrow say that, look, there is a connection because it happened in Hyderabad, it happened here, it happened there. In the extant case, there is definitely an attempt being made, sir, to politically hijack what should have been and what should be a students' movement. Whether it is against ABVP, for ABVP, against Omar Khalid, what have you, there is definite political interference and there is political grandstanding.
Number one, I repeat what I said. I did not see a single poster, banner of any political party or any student organization. That's all I said. Please show me a poster. I'll correct myself if that is the case. Number two, political parties or political party leaders can come and offer support. They are not the ones leading it. I was there, walking behind, mixing with students, finding out. Every citizen of Delhi was welcome to come there. But factually, I can tell you, it was students. Students came on the dais and said, this is our thing. We are the leaders. And no political party is the issue. And they said any particular organization is not the issue.
There is a banner which we are just showing, which is an ISA banner.
Gundagardi on the campus. And
there is an ISA banner in these pictures. Now you can see there's an ISA banner. There's a long banner which is being held up by a number of students just right there in the foreground. And it categorically says ISA. not ABVP, etc., etc. And if you look at the bottom, it's signed off by ISA. Now, so we can keep, look, there it is. There it is, right at the bottom. Now, we can keep disputing all of this, sir, at every level. The point is, our reporters were there. They have spoken to ISA members. They gave the names that
named ABVP and critiqued it.
No, sir, please.
I can't see that. You
anyhow, sir. Anyhow,
please show me that.
I can. There is an ISA. There, look at that. There's a drum. A man is beating a drum with ISA on it. Now, why would they be doing all of that, sir? This is not a coincidence. Now, look.
Are Baba,
please, sir, no, look, let us not try
Rahul,
to obfuscate.
I'm not at all saying that ISA people were not there. I'm not saying SFI people were not there. There is no law in this country.
Agreed,
nothing
sir.
here to, and in fact, now we have a certificate
there was
from
even
Mr.
a
GVL
protest.
Narsimah Rao, a certificate that your channel needs badly. He says that student organizations are allowed. I'm not saying they were not there. All I'm saying is that they were not leading it. There was no banner which said this is an ISA demonstration.
Okay, then tell me, sir, then tell me if there was, if this was entirely divorced, if this was entirely divorced from politics, and I want to open this out to everyone else, if this was entirely divorced from politics, the invite that went out was to an individual who has willy-nilly ended up polarizing this country because of the stance he has taken, allegedly, in a different university. That individual is called, the principal is not told, the principal discovers all of a sudden, cancels the entire seminar. We know what transpired. If there was nothing to hide, why were these pains taken and why were these facts not at any level put out there for everyone to know? That's the fundamental question. Major, I want to come out to you on this.
Yeah, Rahul, couple of things that I'd like to mention, and I would like to have a minute to explain all this. See, it is about what people hold sacred and what people take personally. Now, you might discuss things in the professional sphere, and then when a person attacks you personally, you ask him to back off. For people, different things mean different things. You know, somebody might take umbrage to your saying something about their way they dress, the way they speak, their parents, where they are from, their religion. It can be a lot of factors. For somebody, it is the nation. I am not in any manner condoning the violence, whether done by AVVP or the other groups. No, it cannot be condoned. Let's get to the bottom of this. But at the same time, I very strongly feel that calling of this Umar Khalid was mischievous in the truest sense of the word. He was called there to create a problem, and a problem was created. Why would you call a person who is so very obviously anti-India? Why would you call him for what discussion, and what is this freedom of speech?
Professor Yadav wants to respond to you. He wants to respond
Professor
to you.
Yadav, sir, I would request you to give me 10 seconds more, sir. I am all for freedom of speech. Everybody has a right. But you cannot extend your freedom of speech to saying Bharat tumhare tukde honge. And we have seen those videos, Bastar mange azadi, Kashmir mange azadi, during the course of this agitation. I mean, freedom of speech, if this is freedom of speech, I'm sorry. We have to reconsider. This cannot be freedom of speech. You cannot abuse my country. You cannot threaten to break up my country because you want freedom of speech. The freedom of speech to do what? To do something negative against India? Is this the freedom of speech that you want?
Okay, Professor Yadav, would you like to respond? The provocation comes from an invite which was obviously of a partisan...
there have been lots of debate and discussion on freedom of speech. We ought to have discussion. There cannot be unlimited freedom of speech in any country. But Rahul, from whatever I have read, and I have spent some years studying these questions, all the debates about freedom of speech are to do with what the state can decide, what the government can ban. From my knowledge, unless the Major has a new perspective that I have never read, or you have a new insight that I have never known in my life, there has never been any debate about whether private citizens, whether a group of people standing on the street can put limits to your freedom of speech. Do you realize, Rahul, what you are doing? What you are saying means that tomorrow I can decide that Times Now is not doing right. This is against my deep belief, and from tomorrow morning Times Now should shut down. I, as a private citizen, 10 people of mine, 100 of us can pick up lathis and decide times now should shut down.
No, sir.
And
No
then
one is
we would
arguing
have
that the right
experts
to be
sitting-
the right to be
violence was very
offended is
bad.
also not
But who
absolute,
decides?
sir.
But this was very
No,
correct.
the right to be offended is also not
Let us get the
absolute.
basics right here.
No,
the
the
basic
right to
is
be- I have
no
never said-
individual or group can decide these
No,
things.
Professor,
This has
the right to
decided
be
by state
offended is also
and which
not
can be
absolute.
justified in a court of law.
No, you're now changing the goalposts. The right to be
Rahul.
offended is also not an absolute right, sir. Major wants to come in. GVL Narsimah Rao wants to come in on this
Rahul.
proposition.
Yeah, very quickly,
All I'm
very
saying
quickly,
is
very quickly. I think
private
all of us,
citizens
all of
and
us,
groups cannot decide these
I'm the
things.
only, sir. My perspective is simple. You know, Mr. Yadav said that maybe Major has some view which he has not, thought of before. I'll just tell you, sir, my view is very simple. And my view is this, that for a person like me who's worn the uniform, and even for you and other people, sir, not just people of uniform, but outside uniform also, I think we all hold this country sacred. My only point of view is one single thing. You're welcome to discuss anything. There should be unlimited freedom of speech. You want to bash anybody, you want to question any fundamental, please do it. Do not question India. I'm not talking about the government, sir. I'm just saying do not question the idea of India. That is what I find reprehensible, and that is what leads to fracas. That is all.
Rahul?
And therefore, you have to ask the secondary question. GVL Narsimah Rao wants to
Can
come
I
in.
say that those who do not wear military
No,
uniforms
I think
also
we should
serve this
allow the other
country?
panelists
Major,
also.
can I say that I have defended the idea of India all over this world? I have gone around in different parts of the world and defended this idea of India. And I do have some right to speak about this country
did
that I
you-
love deeply. My simple question
Absolutely,
to you, sir,
sir.
is
I
this.
qualified my
Who
statement in
decides
case you
that the
remember.
idea of
I
India
never
is being
said that people who do
violated?
not
Can
wear the
people standing
uniform
on the road
do not have a
decide that
right.
it's being
I did not say that. You are misconstruing my statement on air, sir.
Rahul.
I did not say that. You know I did not say that.
No, Rahul, but why do these
I'm
people,
only
why do they
submitting
only
who
rally
decides
behind
whether
people who
idea
raise
of India is being
anti-national slogans?
violated? Can
Where
10
are they?
people standing on the street decide
No, but
this?
where are you?
Okay, where are you?
Where are you when other people face the same threats? I think you only rally behind anti-national forces. Be it Kanhaiya Kumar, be it Omar Khalid, you are there out in full strength. When Tariq Fatah receives a life threat, when people really want to behead him, where are you? When Baba Ramdev was not being allowed to speak in JNU, when students were protesting against Baba Ramdev's visit, where were you?
Rahul,
Why do you hold freedom of speech dear only when it comes to anti-national forces having the full freedom of speech to speak? But why do I not find you in all these occasions? You have very selective application of freedom of speech.
Mr.
And a lot of people like you,
I
a lot
do
of them
understand
wrote
that
to
my
the US
movement may not
government
be of
to
much
deny
interest
visa,
to-
to deny a visa to Prime Minister when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. He was the constitutional head. And all of you were greatly in support of such a move.
Okay, Pavan Verma. Pavan Verma.
No, but where are you?
and Professor-
I do understand that
why do you
Mr.
not
Narsimah Rao may not have much
allow a debate
interest.
and not a dialogue.
Okay, gentlemen, look, we are running out of time here. And unfortunately, I'm running out of time. I have to move on to another debate. I'm being pressed by my directors to move forward. Now, my point is this. At the end of the day, we are not sitting here in judgment of people's patriotism. The fact is that we've come to a pass where someone needs to rise above this name calling and actually look at this issue from a palliative position where we need to eschew partisanship and perhaps reach some sort of a bipartisan consensus and define the red lines in which we can hold a debate. Perhaps that is something we need to move towards, and I just hope that our entire political class can for once take off their nearsighted glasses and look at the larger picture. The damage that is being done to the reputation of this country and our academics, both nationally and internationally. I move on. Big stories. Let's have a look at the other big stories on the show. Okay, big development today. It seems that the GDP numbers for Q3 are out. India's GDP stands at 7%, which is really above and beyond expectations. Economy stands tall amidst global ruins. We've had a situation in the country where Notebandi was supposed to have pushed back the economy by several notches. What we are being told by the government today is that, in fact, the economy for Q3 is at 7% GDP. The surprise figure plays down Notebandi fears and proves that Notebandi was not an atomic bomb, as the opposition had claimed. After Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Shamshan and Kabristan statements, BJP MP Sakshi Maharaj has raked up a controversy, saying that he disagrees with the statement and there in fact should not be any Kabristans at all in Uttar Pradesh. He said that cemeteries occupy a lot of space and they will gobble up agricultural land, and therefore Kabristan should be demolished, should be eradicated. A pastor from Kerala joins the bandwagon of those making misogynist comments in Shalom TV video, which has now gone viral. The pastor says that women who wear jeans and t-shirts should be, and I quote, drowned in the sea, unquote, for arousing men by wearing such an attire. Air traffic was disrupted temporarily at the Mangalore airport after a MiG-29K fighter jet made an emergency landing during a routine training sortie from Kochi to Goa. The jet was diverted to Mangalore following a hydraulic emergency. Navy has now ordered a board of inquiry in this issue. And India's Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar, who is currently on an official visit to the United States, will raise the issue of Indian techies killing at Kansas City with the Secretary of the State. India is likely to seek assurance from the Trump administration about the safety of Indians residing in the United States. And Sashikala's proxy rule from jail is proceeding as per plans as she met her top mantris in Tamil Nadu cabinet in the Bangalore Central Jail. The meeting comes in the backdrop of Sashikala responding to an EC notice on her elevation as party boss. And actor Dhanush appeared before a court in Madurai over sensational claim made by a couple saying that they were his parents and demanded a DNA test to prove the same. The court admitted the couple's plea, following which the actor made an appearance. Pakistan didn't kill my father. War did. Delhi University student 20-year-old Gurmehar Kaur tweeted this a year ago. Her tweet has sparked a massive storm in the context of the ongoing fracas at Ramjas College and has stoked a major debate centered on whether her views have belittled the sacrifices of our martyrs. While Gurmehar has refused to be drawn into this controversy, some military veterans and their families are very upset. Those speaking in defense of Gurmehar Kaur have suggested that her views have been distorted deliberately. Who is right in this debate? Who is actually distorting and who is unfortunately perhaps discrediting? Let's throw that open for debate. Joining me this evening is Major Arya. He stays with us, of course, from the debate that preceded. Also with us, Colonel V.N. Thapar, who is the proud father of a Kargil martyr. Also with us is Rahila Parveen, convener of the AISF, and Dr. John Dayal, human rights activist. I want to begin first by asking Colonel V.N. Thapar why he feels that this 20-year-old girl, via her protest placard, has ended up offending the sensibilities of several families who have lost their loved ones to the machinations of our enemies. Colonel, please tell us, sir, why are you upset today?
Yeah. Okay, Rahul. First of all, I'd like to pay my respects to Captain Mandip, who was killed in defending this country. All the respects. Thereafter, I want to take on the points which have offended me. The first thing is her statement that her father was not killed by the bomb, but by the war. You know, now the war is not in vacuum. We are not fighting a war in vacuum. There have to be somebody who has pushed the war onto us, and we are taking action against. So therefore, trying to suggest that this death of the brave officer was not due to anything else but not the instigation, not the action of the enemy is very offending. The second thing is, why is the Kargil martyr being exploited? If she has an issue, she can come out with her name and with whatever association is there. Why is she bringing Kargil martyrs into it? Kargil martyrs as a sentiment are different, and it's not just a geographical matter. Even if you take it geographically, and otherwise, let me expose this matter clearly. The Kargil martyrs are those people who were killed in Kargil during a particular period. It finished on 26th of July.
Yes.
And not in the end of August. And 350 kilometers away in Kupwara and not in Kargil. So this exploitation of the huge public sentiment for Kargil and the Kargil war, the martyrdom of the young men and everything, is something that is distasteful and should not have been done with her.
So, Colonel, what you're saying in effect is that that her mind has been polluted by certain politicians who are perhaps trying to serve a particular interest, and some of those politicians are actively involved in today subverting India's, and this is what you're suggesting, because it's the only inference I can draw.
I'm not suggesting, I'm making that point.
You're making that point.
I'm making that point.
That she's
loud and clear.
That she is actually propagating a certain philosophy which is anti-national. Okay, I want to ask Major Arya if he also agrees tonight with Colonel Thapar. Major Arya.
Yeah, to a very large extent, I agree with Colonel Thapar. I do not know if her mind is being polluted by politicians, because I have no information of that. My point is simple. My point is
if I were to tell you, Major, that she
yes,
has been seen at events organized by ISA, that she has been seen at events, and I can pull up the graphics and the visuals of that, at an event that was organized by one of those, Dr. John Dayal, who's with us tonight, criticizing the surgical strikes. And if I could also allude to the fact that she doesn't deny supporting the Aam Aadmi Party, or at least being affiliated to that loosely, then what would you say, sir? Would you say that she is being actively used?
No, if you say that and if you show me the proof 100%, then there is no question about it. There is no doubt about it.
Well, we can
I want to just add one small little thing. I just want to add one small little thing. Is that, Captain Mandeep did not cross over with his men. He did not go to Pakistan. Where Captain Mandeep was martyred, that was Indian territory. Now, he did what an Indian Army officer was supposed to do. He led his men in anti-terror operations and he was martyred. For Gurmehar to say that war killed my father and not the Pakistanis, this defies all logic to me, because obviously the Pakistanis killed her father. They pulled the trigger, right? And we did not attack. We did not go to a country. I think we've lost audio. We did not.
Yeah.
I think we've lost audio, right?
We can hear you very clearly. Go ahead, Major. Go ahead. We can hear you very, very clearly.
Yeah. All right. So, we did not attack Pakistan. Pakistan attacked us. Pakistan is guilty of transgression in the Kargil war. And that's all there is to it.
There you see it.
Just taking off from what Arya
action
said,
against warmongering.
Just taking off from
this lady along with some individuals, and you can see them in the back, an ISA member sitting there, Kavita Krishnan, next to her is John Dayal on her left, questioned really the surgical strike. There you can see that poster. This is undeniable. It's not morphed. And I want to therefore open this out a little bit. Rahila Parveen, you're the convener of the AISF, and I want to ask you, ma'am, has this all been staged?
Sorry?
Has this all been staged?
Rahul?
Has this all been staged? Did she come out to serve some sort of a wretched political agenda? And I hope to God that we are mistaken on this count. Because it would be really sad.
Rahul, firstly, I would like...
Patent.
Rahila Parveen.
Rahul, firstly, I would like to condemn the way the whole social media is trolling to her. I don't think she is wrong. She is absolutely right. She believes in democracy, peace and brotherhood. That's why she is appealing to people to make a peace and brotherhood. What is wrong with them? What is wrong with ABVP people? Continuously ABVP people are trying to troll and threat to her कि rape कर देंगे, मार देंगे, घर से बाहर नहीं निकलो. What is this? We all are staying in a democratic
Rahina Parveen,
democratic country.
हम उसको
Why we are
condone नहीं
opposing to
करते
her? Why we are?
वो अलग बात है, वो आप छोड़िए, वो हमने कंडेम किया है. कोई भी आदमी या औरत किसी को इस तरीके से थ्रेटन करना बहुत ही गलत बात है. वी आर नॉट इवन लुकिंग एट दैट एस्पेक्ट. रहीला परवीन, हम जो देख रहे हैं, हम उनकी दूसरी स्टेटमेंट पे फोकस कर रहे हैं जो उन्होंने एक साल पहले दी थी. अ स्टेटमेंट दैट शी मेड अ ईयर अगो एंड दैट इज बीइंग यूज्ड टुडे in a context to suggest that perhaps this young woman is being used by somebody, by some political establishments. And I want to bring you in here on this, John Dayal. Is that what is happening?
I completely agree with her. I completely with her.
No.
Her last statement.
No, but you're not John Dayal. I am John.
Okay, John.
You're not John Dayal.
Go ahead, sir.
Let me answer my question. Now, first of all, let me reject absolutely and out of hand the grammar, the syntax of this debate that pits one soldier into questioning the martyrdom of another soldier on technicalities. Is this what debate has been reduced to? Is this what this country has come to? This young girl, irrespective of the place where her father died, irrespective of who pulled the trigger. Of course they were Pakistanis. Does it make him less
so why
of a martyr?
Denying?
Does
why is she denying?
Her argument?
So I'm asking you, Dr. John Dayal, you came out.
Let me talk.
You perhaps.
But her father died
it does not,
in a war.
No, one second, sir. One second. Dr. John Dayal, look.
Doesn't matter.
Look. You came out and questioned the surgical strike
freedom
at a time when India needed to stand behind its soldiers who took the risk of their lives to cross over and punish those who are bleeding us. No, sir, let me frame my question.
I am as much a patriot as
please,
you are.
Let me frame.
Lived here longer.
So let me frame my question, sir, and you can respond. I have no problem with you taking 3 minutes after that, but listen to my question. You've taken objection, and very rightly so.
Certainly.
No, you've taken objection, very rightly so, at an attempt that is being made perhaps to, on technicalities, talk a little bit about this or that. I am not getting into that right now. I'm only asking you a very simple question, Dr. Dayal, and this is a very important question here. The question I'm asking you, sir, is this.
Ask.
Do you believe that this youth who has taken on the ABVP, and rightly so, is not entirely innocent of a political, perhaps slant compulsion? Because she's constantly saying, I'm not politically motivated, but she's also not telling us that there are affiliations
I will answer your question.
that she has, that she is a political personality.
Is not every individual political? If you breathe, if you think, if you have conscience, if you hate poverty, you are political. It is no crime, sir. It is not being an international. And let me tell you one thing.
No, sir, you're not.
Sir, that is an entirely different thing.
You're not
by that argument,
the question,
every TV channel is a spokesman
everybody
of the
is
government of India.
Except ABVP. Every student is anti-national except ABVP.
No, by your definition, every TV channel is then a spokesman of the government of India. Is that so? No, sir.
Okay. How do you make this unqualified, slanderous accusation? And I'm asking you, Dr. John Dayal, on what basis? We are ridiculously today trivializing this debate. One individual comes out. No, 1 second. One individual comes out.
The visuals. It is now Googleable. I can bring out the YouTubes which show people mouthing the exact words that government does, that government spokesmen do.
Well, I think, Dr. John Dayal, you see, you've got to come up with a better argument. You've got to come up with a better argument.
What else than
Better
facts?
argument. No, one second.
What
You've got to
else
come up
is
with a
better
better
than
argument.
facts?
So let me ask you
What
then,
else is
Dr. John
better
Dayal,
Rahul.
tonight. Let me ask you.
Rahul.
Do you
Rahul.
condone and invite to an individual who is being tried for sedition, sir, knowing fully well that that individual will elicit a very strong reaction from other individuals, that there could in fact be a riotous scene on campus? Would you do so in the express defiance of an advisory that has been sent out by the police arguing against not sending out an invitation to a particular individual who is known to be a rabble-rouser? I'm asking you, sir, would you condone that?
Let me answer that. Let me answer that. If I were the Vice Chancellor of JNU, I would invite the RSS chief to come and speak. I would invite him. Is there a difference? I would invite the RSS chief to come and speak. Understanding
RSS
fully
chief,
well
what has that
that
got to
people
do
might
with the
oppose him.
separatists? The
That is
RSS chief
essence
doesn't
of
stand
debate.
for the breakdown of this country, sir.
Not the Vice
You're giving me
Chancellor.
an example. I am giving you an example.
He is giving a
I am
hypothetical
giving you an example.
scenario altogether.
That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous parallel you're drawing, sir.
course it's
You
hypothetical.
you
it's a-
stop being an activist.
Tangential.
You got the point.
You
got
stop
the
being an
point.
activist,
You're
sir,
telling
when
me
you
do this because got
advocate
the
an
point.
extra constitutional solution to a very imminently solvable problem. The Constitution makes an allowance
Look, Rahul.
for us to solve the
Sir,
problem in
it
Kashmir,
is-
if there
it
is one
no
at all.
crime.
I'm only
The man
asking you,
is
when you
indicted,
come out and say,
the man has an FIR, the man is not convicted, the man is not condemned, the man has not been sentenced. How? He is innocent till proved guilty.
sir, till last count,
He's innocent
I did
till
not
proved
know that the RSS chief, in fact, had any FIR against him for sedition. Can you prove that he does? I'm asking you. Can you prove that he does?
There are X number of Judicial Commission reports indicting his organization.
I'm only asking you this
Can you
question.
prove that is not so?
Is
Those
the
are witness
person
reports.
of the RSS
Rahul.
chief indicted? Simple question. Talk on facts. This particular
Rahul.
show, sir, is
Other
upfront
chap
about
is
the fact.
not-
Colonel wants
he
to come
is
in.
not condemned.
Major wants to
He
come in.
is
Yes, Colonel.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I want to
The
know
major coming.
whether the man who's the
debate
captain
does not
who is in the RR today battling for his life, what did he get shot up for? What did this girl's father, Captain Mandeep, what did he give up his life for? What did so many young people who are dying in Kashmir and
idea of
elsewhere
India,
give
the
up
idea
their
of
life
India, which
for?
you
For this
refuse to
country,
recognize.
for the India. And anyone who is going to harm
Idea of India.
or think
That
about harming
your
this
idea of
country
India
in any
is
way
not my idea of
is
India.
not going to be allowed to get his way.
Well, you have an issue here.
Don't follow that agenda. That's a dangerous agenda you're following, Major. That's a dangerous
In
agenda.
fact, we will follow it.
Rabble-rouse.
We will follow it.
Soldiers
We have-
die.
Ek minute.
We have
Rahul, just
sown
hold
by
on,
the
just
flag.
hold on.
Soldiers
Just hold
die
We
on.
have
for the idea
sown
of
for the
India.
sovereignty of the
Soldiers
country.
die
Sir,
for the
Rahul,
oath
just
they
one
take.
second. I'd like to come in for 1 minute.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'd like to ask Mr.
They are
John
martyrs,
Dayal.
they're not covered.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Mr. Mr. John Dayal, a question to you, sir. What Colonel
Yes,
Thapar
sir.
said, sir, what is a dangerous agenda? Hold on. Allow me to complete my question, sir. What Colonel Thapar said was defending
You
the
don't-
honor and integrity of this nation. What is so dangerous about this, sir? I don't understand. Please explain to me.
This young girl's father died defending the honor of this country. He died for the same
Yes.
reasons
But
that
against
other
whom?
martyrs died. He was a
Defending the
martyr.
honor against
Don't
whom,
use
sir?
a soldier. Don't
Against
use
whom?
a soldier.
Against whom?
Don't you
Who is
use
abusing the
Pakistan and
soldier?
Pakistan's
Don't
proxies.
against an enemy.
Why are we in denial
Against
about the
enemy
obvious
of a
fact?
country.
Are
Against
you
the
going to
motherland.
suggest,
John
sir, that
Dayal, I'm
today
sorry,
when we
sir,
are being
you're not
attacked,
making
India
sense.
should not defend
You're just
itself?
not making
Umar-
sense, sir.
So India should not defend
Umar
itself.
Khalid is a great
You
patriot.
will not pit
People
a
will cross
soldier
the border,
against a
they will
soldier.
kill our
Gurmehar is
citizens,
also not
but we must
anti-national,
look
so
the
please
other way,
remember
turn the
this
other
one.
cheek.
Gurmehar
We must
Kaur
turn
is
the
not
other cheek. We
anti-national.
leave it at that.
We are not
But
saying
ABVP is saying,
Nobody said
ABVP
nobody said
is
anything.
saying.
We rest our case because in an argument as absurd as this, ladies and gentlemen, in an argument as absurd as this, there can actually be no counter argument. If someone is going to wear blinkers which are going to blind him to the reality of the threat that is faced by this country, then God help that individual.